I'd like to introduce you to my brand new game. Like what you see? Well, let me tell you a little more about it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
You naughty, naughty, you teasing me, you naughty, naughty.
The clips you just saw were from a brand new game concept that was born on a random night at 2 AM. A time when many of us have our greatest ideas. For years I've struggled with the idea that I've never had that dream game that everybody else has. This idea that's developed over the past few weeks, well, this is coming pretty close to that. Without showing too much, today I'm going to give you an introduction to this game and the rather large amount of time and effort I've spent developing and building it the past few weeks. Say hello to this guy. Currently, he is the work of an ancient character who fell in a mysterious substance from another realm, rendering him physically useless. Little else is known of him as of yet. All we know is that he created the playable character of this game, and he's a combination of spheres and a substance known as hypercommodious blood. You'll soon find out the meaning of such terms. Regardless, this little guy can run and jump, nothing special. However, he can also hold onto walls, as well as give himself a little momentum boost. Now you may think this is all he can do, but no. Those little floating hands of his are equipped to deal some serious damage to unknown enemies, if applied properly. But before I show you some moves, how did we even get here? Well, let me take you back to about 3 weeks ago, when I arose from the morning with a brand new game idea. A Smash Bros style pixel art combat game with a bunch of juice and satisfying combat. And my first goal of this was to create a dynamic camera system that allows players to battle it out while being in the view at all times. Now this started off with 2 simple circles and ended with 2 simple circles. But let me tell you, sending that poor little guy into the wall to be crushed was everything but boring. This little concept was created by getting the distance between the 2 players, and if it was larger than a certain number, you increase the camera size and smoothing that out, and vice versa. And in regards to the little dummy who was flattened hundreds of times, he had a health bar, and if it reached 0, he would gain a force large enough to send blood flying across the screen, satisfying just about every player who feasts their eyes upon it. Nothing better than creating particle systems, especially ones that can collide with walls. Now, if I wanted to create an enemy that could do all of these cool things when they die, I had to tackle something I'm yet to truly delve into, an attack system. Now I'm not going to go into the details, as my next video on here is going to be taking a deep dive into my combat system and how to make it engaging. So today I'm just going to give a little lowdown on what's going on behind the scenes. Let's give this boy a sword I made in 5 seconds and definitely not 10 minutes. Let's give that sword a little swing, and let's give it a little collider. Now essentially, when the sword is swinging, the game enables damage to be taken, meaning the enemy can only interact with the sword when it's in swing mode, so the player can't just walk up to the enemy with no momentum and... But it was from this point where this iteration of the game idea sadly lost momentum and fell into the depths of failed game ideas. A long, deep cavern that was a sea of these little ideas all screaming at me, waiting to make a return. But fear not, as the reason this was thrown away was to make room for the next step of the game. A 2D combat based game that features a light story, but instead of fighting against players, you're fighting against a wide range of very different enemy AIs, with the choice of a bunch of different weapons ranging from swords to guns to other sci-fi weapons. Now I'm not going to quite reveal the exact details of the settings, where you are and the context behind everything you're looking at, but in good time you'll know. Now that we've finally reached the current project in the works, let me give you a sneak peek into one of the concept weapons I've got working, a very simple curved sword. Now while this sword is not big and may not deal a ton of damage, it allows you to get close and personal with your enemies, and you can do a number of short attacks in a small time frame, allowing you to build up some true damage. You know, because I'm feeling generous, I'm going to show you a second weapon. Currently, this little guy is called D-Stab, and it's the second weapon of the small weapon class. Don't worry, soon I'm going to show you some of the beastly weapons, but you know, let's not give everything away now. This guy, like in the name, can stab you quickly and sharply, dealing a decent amount of damage if you use them correctly. Now, you know, it's all well and good having weapons, but what can I use them on without giving away all of my enemies? Well, here is a poor guy that has been beaten into the ground by me, the dummy. He has a ton of health, in fact infinite health, but takes damage in the same way every other enemy does, so you can test each weapon, their range, speed, momentum and more, all while being safe from damage. Where you'll find the dummy, well, that'll have to wait for another video, but this is who I've been using to test weapons. If you're wondering how I got this damage flash effect, well, I'm going to take a deep dive into that next time, but essentially this game is built with the rendering pipeline with Unity, and I used shaders to create a white flash material that is quickly assigned to the enemy upon damage, then taken away after a fraction of a second. It looks pretty good if you ask me. Now, this game will have many different places to go, all at the choice of the player. One of them being a huge feature of the game that I'm going to give a little early access presentation to you now. That being a place known as the Unsurpassable. A room built within the halls of this place that is inescapable once you enter, and the only way you can leave is through defeat. You may be thinking, what if you kill all of the enemies within? Well, you can't. Enemies will forever be lurking from the corners and will increase in numbers gradually over time until the player is granted a painful death. Now, just how this room works behind the scenes, well, I'm going to show you that in the next few videos, but today is just an introduction, so stay tuned. Speaking of introductions, I guess I should introduce you to one of the enemies you'll find in this room, and its name is Leapthorne. Leapthorne is built to bounce and can fly into the sky after hitting the ground, sending 2 projectiles flying into the ground at a fixed speed. You'll find it can be quite annoying to get to sometimes, but if you use the right tool and the right moveset, you can take it down without a scratch. Leapthorne gets its name from the ancient character, yet to be truly presented to you all, and it will stay that way for another video or two. But just note, he is the character behind the enemies you see today. Regardless, hit this enemy while he's low and you'll send him flying into the walls in no time. Maybe even shorter if you're lucky and you land a few critical hits in there. It works by instantiating 2 bombs in diagonal directions periodically, giving the player a pattern to learn and follow. But we're going to be talking about my quest to engage players using combat in the next video. Now, while I'm here, I'll show a few other random bits before we get into the good stuff next time, such as these doors, the connection between each area. It's a cool little interactive door that detects the player is near and will open if allowed. However, there may be rooms where players need to do something first, such as kill an enemy before the door will open. This is one of the many things I'll be going more in depth to soon. I guess one last sneak peek I'll show today is the parallax background I've got in some of the scenes, giving a hint on the kind of backgrounds you'll be seeing. As you can see, they're long wooden beams of different distances and a script that gives off the illusion that they're moving as the player moves at different speeds. I'm going to expand upon this massively, but I've been playing around with it to see what works best and decide exactly upon the background style. Lads, I have so much to show you, it is going to be great. This game is going to be a big step up for us and I can't wait for you guys to play it. Speaking of which, head down to the Discord server in the description, as I've got a build coming very soon and I'm looking for testers to give me feedback. For today though, that just about wraps it up. Guys, if you enjoyed, please do let me know and subscribe to watch the next video. I can't wait to show you everything that I've been working on in depth. Guys, I will thank you all very much for watching today's video and I will see you all in the next one. Bye. Oh, also subscribe to the second channel.